Good evening. So today we get to put our Speed Queen dryer back together. The heating stopped a couple of days ago and I diagnosed the problem. It was the heating element, so I ordered the part and the part came yesterday. So now it's time to install the heating element and put the dryer back together and test it, and I'm pretty sure it's going to work. All right, this is what I got. I already tore this bad boy apart. Drum and belt here. This is what the inside of a dryer looks like. I already vacuumed everything out, so for safety, fire safety, anytime you have the dryer apart, there's going to be lint, and if you have pets and you wash clothes and dry clothes that have pet hair on them, it's all going to get stuck underneath your drum and all over these parts in the dryer. So you want to vacuum all that out of there, because it is a fire risk if you let it collect in there. And it can also collect around your electrical parts here. Basically it acts as an insulator, so you could overheat your electrical parts because they're covered in lint and pet hair. So whenever you have to work on a dryer, you want to vacuum everything out. So it's pretty much spotless right now, but the heating element goes back here, and then the wires connect to it, and then we just button everything back up. Before we put this thing together, I'll show you how I tested the heating element. So I'll check that out right now. All right, here's what we got. Old heating element, new heating element. So it has your coils in there that heat up, and then the air flows through that to run into your dryer so that it dries your clothes. The new heating element comes with this parts kit that has your limit thermostat and your thermal fuse. So what I did basically was take the heating element out and took this limit thermostat out and tested this first, and this does work. And then I decided to test the old heating element next, and that's what I found does not work. So here's how I tested. You take your multimeter here, turn it on to continuity test, push so you have audio, and in order to test that, you basically need to touch these ends together. And you hear that beeping, and then you know you have continuity. Touch one lead to here, the other lead to there, and nothing. That means this is trash. Test the new one end. Install this bad boy, and it'll be good as new. All right, so we just put in the heating element, and this is the new heating element here. This just basically goes into a slot here and slides up. So this connection here fits inside this U shape, and then their screw holes line up on either side. There's just two screws that hold this thing in, and that's that. All right, so I just hooked up all the electrical connections, and basically I just took a picture of all these connections before I removed the heating element. So I just look up the picture, connect everything back the way that was according to the picture, and that's how the heating element is wired in. Normally, while you have a dryer part too, there's a lot of wear parts that you want to inspect. So you have your felt here that the drum rides on, and then your support wheels here, and these have bearings in them that can go bad. So if you have a dryer that squeals real bad, it's typically your support wheels here. And then you have your belt tension pulley here, and then the belt wraps around. This is the drive pulley for the motor. So those are all things that can wear out and make your dryer sound a little crazy. So I just replaced them a couple months ago, so they're not being replaced right now. I did end up having to replace these wear strips. As you can see, they are shot. So upon further inspection, I checked them out, I ordered new ones, and I put them on before putting everything back together. All right, the next thing we're going to do is put the drum back in. Wrap the belt around it, and you want to make sure that the ribs of the belt are facing down. Line the back edge of the drum up with the felt glide in the back of the dryer. and getting the belt wrapped around the drive pulley, the motor, and the tensioner pulley with one hand while you're holding the drum up with your other can be a little tricky, but it is not impossible. And here's what the belt configuration looks like under the drum, wrapped around the tensioner pulley and the drive pulley. The next piece is the front support panel for the drum. And this piece has little tabs that will slide into slots on the sidewalls of the washer. And then you just tighten these bottom fasteners and the top fasteners. Next, you lower the top carefully and make sure the side is flush with the sidewall of the washer, and then just make sure the tabs are on the outside front of the sidewall there, because next we gotta tighten these fasteners. The next piece we have to put on is the door panel, and there is a few wires to reconnect here to the door sensor. Just like that. Once the top of the door panel clicks into place, you just fasten it on the bottom here with two fasteners, one on each side, and it secures it to the sidewalls. And the last piece to put on is the bottom panel, and that just clips into place at the top. Sometimes it fights you, sometimes it doesn't. And once that's in place, you just tighten the two fasteners at the bottom on each side. Plug her back in. Door light works. And don't forget to vacuum up after yourself to make your wife happy. So we're going to test the heating element now. We got a hand towel here, and the ambient temperature is 71.5 degrees. Toss that in the dryer. High heat, dry, start. All right, it's been running a couple of minutes now, so we're gonna open this door and see what the temp is. 94.5 in the dryer, and that towel is 108, 107. So heating element is replaced, fixed, and those little wear strips actually make it run much quieter also. Just those two little wear strips that go down inside this frame here that help support the drum. The dryer's been buttoned up for a couple of days now. Heating element is running perfect. We noticed that the dryer is working way better. So the heating element must have been slowly going bad, because we noticed on some of the settings that the clothes are dried way faster than even before. So the dryer, I think, is about 6 years old. Never had to replace anything other than the support wheels for the drum and the wear parts, which are common. AWS Laundry, I think, is the one place. That's where the heating element came from, and it was very fast shipping. It was estimated at like a week, but it came in like 2 days. And the other one is just your general Amazon, wear parts replacement kit for this model dryer. But all in all, the job was very easy. I've never done a heating element before. Somewhat experienced with testing electrical parts with the multimeter and things like that. So, if you have a little bit of experience with that, it helps, but it's not necessary. You can always look up a video on how to use a multimeter and how to test continuity, things like that. So it was a fairly simple project for me, and on to the next one. The last tag.